Parent Entrepreneur Power. Conversation number 149.
Parent Entrepreneur Power.
Wait, what? Entrepreneur Power!
This is the podcast for parents juggling the tough choices required for success in business while putting family first. Hi, I'm Mary Catherine Johnson, and I share the ups and downs and dirty truths of profits and potty training while chatting with successful parent entrepreneurs from all walks of life. Are you powered up? Hello there, Power Parents. Guess who? You know who I am, Mary Catherine Johnson, and I get to chat with someone I have made friends with. Oh my goodness, over the past at least 9 months, probably longer than that. And that is Kirsten Tyrell. She is the host of the marvelous... I can't talk.
It's okay.
The Marvelous Moms podcast and co-creator of the Amazon FBA course. So hey there, Kirsten, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm fan-stinking-tastic. I mean, it's a gorgeous day out here in Northern California. So the fall is trying to rear its beautiful head.
Yeah.
But,
Here too. It's only like 90 degrees this week instead of 105 in southern Utah.
My goodness.
Our leaves don't really change or fall off the trees until like November.
I'm not going to complain then. I'm just going to say no. I'm just going to say that it's probably supposed to be about 90 today. And all last week it was in this 80s, 70s, and 80s. That is just glorious. I can actually go for a walk in the middle of the day.
That's amazing.
Right? I
Yep.
mean, that doesn't usually happen in summer. That's only fall and spring. So
It's true. It's so
yay.
true.
I have to tell you, I was in, we've actually made 2 trips to Utah because I have a budding paleontologist in the family.
Oh.
Yes, he's wanted to be a paleontologist since he could speak. And he might be changing to mathematician now that he's a sophomore, but I don't know. But we actually got to go out to Thanksgiving Point, which is a remarkable place out in Utah. And it has the largest dinosaur museum in the world. And it is absolutely spectacular. Have you been? I'm sure you have.
I haven't, because that's about 3 hours, 2.5, 3 hours north of me. So I didn't even know there was a dinosaur museum there. There's a dinosaur museum like in my backyard.
Oh, yes.
In St. George, but no, I've never been to that one.
Oh yeah, this is, and like it's I think Brachiosaurus, the big long neck guys. They've got like full size tall. 2 or 3 of them or something.
My gosh.
And oh yeah, it's incredible. It's an incredible place. So we actually took the trip, and it took us about a 12-hour drive from our house to Salt Lake City, and across the desert, of course.
Yep.
So that was interesting. The guys were totally enamored with that for about the first 5 minutes.
I bet.
Yeah. And then, so it was an amazing place. But anyway, I digress. Tell me, all right, I know you very well with Marvelous Moms, but tell us your once upon a time story. Tell us how you started this whole parenting and entrepreneur thing.
You know, it's so funny because I, from a very young age, wanted to be a mom. I was the oldest of 4 girls, so I was kind of a junior mom. I helped raise my sisters.
Oh, yes.
So I was really excited to become a parent, almost like to the point where I didn't really want to do anything else. I didn't really want to finish school. I didn't want to have a job. I just wanted to be a stay-at-home mom with my kids. And so I started a family, and I got pregnant. I had my first baby when I was like 23 or 24. And it was about 6 months into motherhood, and I was like, well, this is not, this isn't it. Like, I want to do more. I kind of got it out of my system. And it wasn't that I didn't love being a mom. I absolutely did. But I realized I was kind of bored. Like, I wanted to do more things. Yeah. So while he was still a baby, I went back to school. My husband was getting his master's degree, and I pretty much knew I had 1 year before he graduated, because after graduation, we had no idea where we would be. So I had 1 year to finish my bachelor's degree, and I squeezed 2 years of schooling into 1 year, and it was so much fun. And I just realized how much I loved to work and how much I loved to be busy and how much I just couldn't sit still. And so beyond that, like, I mean, I finished school. I didn't even still at that point have career goals, but I started doing a photography business because I had a baby and I love taking pictures, and I took photography courses. I mastered in communication, but I became a photographer and just kind of started my own little business. And I always like kind of tried to make it not a big thing, you know, like, oh, it's not going to be like, I'm not going to invest thousands of dollars into this. I'm just going to do it like for fun. And maybe if people pay me, it's great. I didn't want to put too much pressure on it. So I was really like careful about being a business person. And my husband graduated, and the jobs, like we were like on the almost, he was like top 2 for 3 major jobs across the country that didn't happen. And so we lived with my parents for what was supposed to be 2 months. It turned into 2.5 years. We had another baby in there. At the end of the 2.5 years, we were pregnant with baby number 3. Like, because I still wanted to be a mom, and pretty much I had nothing else going on. So I might as well just keep having kids. Yeah. Makes sense, right?
Oh,
just keep adding to like the mouths to feed when you're just kind of trying to float through life. So in that couple of years, we really did like, we didn't realize we were entrepreneurs, but we did start other businesses. We started an opera company. We helped start a restaurant, just kind of dabbled in things that we didn't have our whole heart and soul into, and we didn't have the financial like experience to back those things ourselves. So eventually we got kind of sick of the grind, and my husband took a job. We moved to Southern California. It was amazing. It was so much fun. We lived by Disneyland. We just had like the life, you know, life we'd kind of been waiting for. And it was fun. Just I was a stay-at-home mom again. I kind of slowly started the photography business. I turned it into a bigger business. I made like $20,000 in a summer. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm a photographer. Like, I guess can be my job. I guess it's not a bad thing to own a business. So it was kind of, I guess, to answer your question, like my Once Upon a Time, they happened almost at the same time, but the mothering definitely came first. Like my desire to be a parent came way before my desire to own a business. And really, like my story changes so much just in the last year, because I was at a point where as a mom, I was kind of drowning. Like I didn't really have an identity anymore. I didn't enjoy being a mom. I felt like I was mean all the time. I just didn't have anything going on for me. And it was hard. We were crammed in a 2-bedroom apartment. I was miserable. And it was like at the point where Ben, my husband, was like, maybe you need to like get on pills. Maybe you need to see a doctor, you know? And I was like, that's
get
like,
on pills?
Yes. And that is a hard, you know, no pun intended. That's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
But so I was like, okay, no, I need to make sure that I have done everything I can before I take it to that level. Not that I'm against that. I totally see the value in that, but I need to make sure I'm not just being like a spoiled brat. And so I really shifted my mentality. That is the point where both things kind of changed, my parenting and our business. We decided he was miserable at his job, and we needed to do something new. We were surrounded by all this wealth. We were in San Clemente, which is like everybody's super rich. And we're like, hey, how are these people so wealthy? They're not all doctors and lawyers. There has to be a way. And so we kind of looked into the online business world, thinking, you know, before, back in like, you know, the last 10 years, it was, oh, do online surveys or be a virtual assistant, you know, maybe not even 10 years ago. But to make money online, which just always seemed scammy or like really long work to make nothing. So Ben jumped in and he discovered Amazon. And we were like, okay, fine, let's look into this. So along that journey, as we were starting this business, we also started doing personal development, which we had really never done. It was always, you know, like, oh, so hokey, like, oh my gosh, like reach for your dreams, blah, 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 whatever. And then we finally started to get it at a totally new level. We'd never gotten it before. And we became those people who are like, you need to read this book and this book and this book. And you need to change your life. You need to change your perspective. You need a dream board. And that became our life. And it seriously transformed my motherhood. Yeah. And we started getting up early. We started doing Miracle Mornings, the book by Hal Elrod. We read that and we started doing it immediately. We found we had so many more hours in our day, and he was still working his day job. And we were doing Amazon in the evening. I started a little boutique, like an online boutique at the same time. And I started Marvelous Moms Club because I realized there's all this good information out there. There's all this happy things that need to be shared with moms, because a lot of times moms are kind of lonely. They're in the same mentality I was, like you're just drowning in it and you feel like you're alone and you feel like it's the hardest thing in the entire world, but it really should be more celebrated. I mean, I didn't become a mom because I wanted to be miserable. I became a mom because it looked amazing and it looked fun and I wanted to have adventures with my children. And I kind of realized after developing a little bit more personally, I came back to that. And I came back to that, like, the person I was before I had kids, and that actually made me a better mom. And I wanted to share that. So I know it's like a really long-winded answer, but our business and our family have evolved almost like right alongside each other.
And, I know that the power parents out there listening are not going to be surprised by that.
Right.
Because I'm serious. It's so crazy how that is the case. We evolve, our families and our businesses pretty much evolve side by side. Mm-hmm. And at the same pace sometimes, in the same stages sometimes. And it sounds like, as you were talking, I have to tell you, it sounded like you were almost an adrenaline junkie. Uh-huh. Right? I mean, you weren't happy unless that craziness was going on in life. And but you weren't quite ready to be able to encapsulate that craziness into productive actual income until you started that journey with Miracle Morning and it's just, you were ripe and ready for this change because you already had the perseverance, the attitude, the energy that you needed. You just needed to find a direction for it and really not be busy, but be actually productive.
Yes, you nailed it.
Oh
so
my
true.
gosh. Yes. And now that your kids are growing, look at you had each kid because you had to keep staying busy. Well, I'm sure you had them for other reasons, but still.
Oh, it's kind of funny though to hear you say that. It's kind of true. Like, I've never looked at it from that perspective before, but it's true. I had to keep doing something. Might as well have more kids.
Yeah. Well, and of course we know there's another reason beyond that, but still. Yes. And then the same with the businesses. It's so amazing how we creatures do this. And we do it to ourselves.
Yeah, it's true. Nobody made me.
No, but that's the best part, right? Because that's, as my son is growing up and I'm helping him start his business, he sees how all of his friends go to a job and that's someone else making you do something. Even if you enjoy it, it's someone else making you do it. You have to do it in exchange for a salary. Mm-hmm. But when you're an entrepreneur, it's totally different. You have to do that. You have to find your own energy and purpose and perseverance for your clients, right? Mm-hmm. But they're not making you do it. You are offering yourself up as an option for them, and they hire you to do it. It's just a totally different mindset completely. But wow. So I know that things started happening really quickly for you once you made that shift. And once your husband decided to do the Amazon FBA stuff and you decided to help him do that. So take us through that now. You were in Southern California in an area, and I remember listening to your conversations about having to move your car. And, I remember all those things and having to do all this and figure out how to get to Costco and get all your stuff up the stairs. And, I remember all that. And so from there, now you've moved back because you used to live in Utah, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Now you've moved back to Utah. It's almost like a, welcome home, successful people. Right? I kind of feel that way. But take me through the moving your car. How did you get from moving your car, and you can explain what we're talking about to the power parents. They may not know what I'm talking about, to moving back to Utah and living a different dream.
Oh my gosh. It's so weird because when we lived in California, we said we're never leaving. We're never leaving San Clemente. This is it. This is where we're retiring. This is the end all be all to our life. And still, maybe we'll go back. We really, at this point, it's so weird because when you begin to work for yourself and you can live anywhere, you almost feel really untethered and really, lonely. Not lonely. You just feel, it's weird. Like normally when you have a day job, you're tethered to wherever that job is. And then when you don't have that, it's just like, oh my gosh, we could go anywhere. And I don't like that feeling. I like to feel a little bit of, attachment to something. Yeah. So in regards to moving my car, we lived, I said, in a 2-bedroom apartment, and it was on a very crowded street because we were in downtown San Clemente. It was beach town. There's I swear, 300 houses on one street. There probably is. There's a lot. And so there was no street parking. And every other week there was street sweeping on a different side of the road, and I would have to go and move my car. And there was many times when I would forget to move my car and I'd have to run down there really fast. But one time I was at the top of the street and I saw the street sweeper coming, and I had to flip my stroller around and run down the street with my 4-year-old running behind me, just hurry up. And he's like, Mom, my shoe fell off. I'm like, pick it up and keep running. I'm not getting a $50 ticket. Like looking back, I'm like, $50 ticket would not have been the end of the world for what I did, but
But still.
Yeah. And so it was just horrendous. It was so hard being crammed in that little apartment and having, like you said, to carry the groceries up the stairs. Like I just eventually started using laundry baskets and just piling everything in there, loading it up, but having small children. Like for a lot of the time I lived there, I had a child at the age where I had to carry them. It was only at the very end they could all walk up the stairs. Right. So it was not fun. And so we started our business in October. We delved into Amazon. We kind of just were like, hey, is this really a thing? Because, I grew up with parents saying if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Yeah. So I was very skeptical about if this was really, truly going to work. So we started with $150. We invested into a product. We got it into Amazon on Black Friday. I remember it hit the warehouse on Black Friday and started selling immediately. And that product, we had only gotten like 50 units. And it sold out by the end of December, and it had made us like $1,000 in sales. And I was like, okay, I guess this is legit. and of course, because I'm hyper, and instead of just like continuing to do that, I mean, we reinvested, we bought more inventory. We've turned that product into like $15,000 in sales. But instead of just sticking with that trajectory and continuing just on our merry way, doing our own thing, we realized we had to share this. Like we wanted to tell our friends and family about it. We wanted everybody we knew to know how amazing this was and it was so exciting. Like I would get on live stream and I would say, oh my gosh, you guys, literally, I just made money and I haven't even looked at my Amazon business or my Amazon account in weeks. And I still get paid every 2 weeks. And it was just it was so exciting and people wanted to know more. And so we created the course. We started promoting the course in March, which is actually when Ben quit his job. He gave his notice in January and we were planning on him, working to replace his income by June. Mm-hmm. And in January, he was like, I can't do it. Like, I can't do both. I can't go to work anymore and have this negative energy and then come home and try and like purge it and get back into positive, good mentality. I just can't do both. Like, it's so hard. It's so contradictory to each other. So he quit. He gave 2 months notice and then he was done working in March. And that's when we launched the Amazon course. We did a beta, and it just kind of grew from there and it's changed. I'll talk a little bit more about like where we're at with it right now, but it's still there. We're still helping people. We have lots of students who are getting products in Amazon who are selling and starting to have the same success. But through that in July, our lease was up and they kind of told us like, well, and we were in subsidized housing because his job, he was working in the nonprofit sector and he didn't make any money. Mm-hmm. So we qualified, but now we didn't qualify anymore. And so they're like, you pretty much need to go. And we're like, well, this is bad timing. We're right in the middle of a startup where we kind of had planned, okay, like a 6-month plan. And now in 4 months into it, we need to move. So we had to decide whether to stay local and pay $3,000 or $4,000 a month for a home, or if we should move to be by family and have a support system that would be probably more beneficial and pay like, $1,500 to $2,000 a month. Right. So it was kind of a no-brainer, but it was actually a really hard choice because in the middle of that, also, I had written a Disneyland book on, a guide for families to conquer Disneyland because I had gone once a week with my kids by myself. And I really wanted to be by Disneyland and I wanted to promote this book and I wanted to be by the beach and I loved my life, but it was just so hard because I love my family too. And I love cheaper prices. So
California.
Terrible.
Oh, yeah.
So that's how we moved back. And it has been great. It's been a huge adjustment. I still miss those things a lot to where I would love to go back, but it's so crowded.
You even flew back just for Disneyland once, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. We drove down. I wish we could fly. That would be more work, I think, than it was worth. But we drove down with the kids, and I had a photo shoot down there because I still have my photography business on top of everything else. And we went to Disneyland and did the whole thing in one weekend. So it was kind of like it filled my cup, but it also made me have a little bit of withdrawal when we got home because I'm like, shoot, now I can't go back every week, and it's terrible.
I know.
So yeah, that's how we moved. That's why we moved. That's why we're here. We have a beautiful home now. We're in a 5-bedroom house instead of a 2-bedroom apartment. Yes. And our kids have room to run. They have a backyard. I have a garage. I don't have to park down the street. I don't even have to park outside at all.
Yes. Yes. Isn't that amazing when you appreciate that? And there's so many people who still don't park their cars in the garage. Anyway, let's just not talk about that. It drives me.
I know
they've just got their garages stuffed with stuff, and they've got to get out in the rain and get their kids out of the car seats. And I'm like, are you crazy? That's what a garage is for. Anyway.
That's why you have a 3-car garage. You just fill one side of it.
There you go. That's it. There you go. I've got a 2-car garage, and I've got 2 cars in it. And the only car that's parked outside is my 18-year-old's car.
Which is how it should be.
Which is definite. And I had to fight with my husband. I kid you not. He was trying to get my son to be the one to park in the garage. I'm like, are you crazy? You are the father of this family. You will park your car in the garage. Period. It's so funny. And even my son is like, no, Dad, I'm fine out here. You guys have to go around me. And no, I'm fine.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They leave and they come and go a lot more.
A lot more. And they come in at, midnight.
Exactly.
You can't imagine that. I know that. But I couldn't imagine that at that age either. But they do. He actually comes home like at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. And I don't sleep until he does. But anyway, let's just not talk about that anymore either. But my goodness. Okay, so talk about fast. We're talking from October to March.
Yeah.
I mean, so in that time frame, when did you end up with the $15,000 in sales on Amazon of your product?
Probably between. So that was like January is when we restocked, because we did that little first chunk from November to December. So January to about May is when we did like the $15,000 in sales on one product. We also had 2 other products that were like slowly growing. And now I think right now we're actively selling like 2 or 3. Ben does all that fun stuff. I just watch the money roll in.
You are a true stay-at-home mom.
I know.
Yes. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah, right. So, okay, but let's be a little clear on this, because this is a private label product, right? This isn't.
Yep.
Okay, good. So that's different. Some people have heard, I know there are a couple of different ways you can sell things. You can go to, Target and get stuff on clearance and then send it to Amazon and sell it for a profit. And you're doing that as well.
Yep, I do that just for fun, because I still like to get out of the house and go shopping, and not for the reason that most people go shopping. I love to go and find those deals and send them to Amazon, because it's so much more satisfying to me than spending my money on things, that I kind of need and don't really need. Yeah. So I still do that, but that mostly, like, the money we make from that kind of pays for like our advertising costs, or, more inventory that's going to make us more money in the long run. So that's kind of how we structure that. But almost all of our sales are from our private label products.
And so what we're talking about there, Power Parents, is you had a product created or for you that's already being created somewhere, but you had it created for you to your specifications, labeled in your business. And then you went through the process through Amazon to be an Amazon seller, and you send it to Amazon's warehouse, and the FBA means fulfilled by Amazon.
You are so educated. You must watch my live streams or something.
I know a lot about Amazon. I've helped clients do exactly what you're doing.
That's awesome.
I get it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So we pretty much, it's weird. There's so many different definitions of passive income, and this is definitely for us the most passive income. Even like our course has been a labor of love, creating it, maintaining it, nurturing those people. Yes, you can sell somebody an online course, but that's not where it stops typically. No. Not for us anyway. I know there's a lot of people who are just like, one and done, here's your course, peace out. For us, it's like, here's the course, but here's the Facebook group, and here's your opportunity to get like monthly coaching calls and really nurture your growth, because we're we're go-getters, and we get things done.
I think I figured that out. I was thinking you're a little bit crazy, but that's okay. That's a good thing. The 3 kids, how many businesses now? At least 3.
I think there's 6.
6 businesses. 6 businesses, 3 kids, moving. Oh my goodness, you are an adrenaline junkie.
Shoot, you're right.
Oh my goodness. No, and you're also defying, what I really, all kidding aside, Power Parents, I'm joking, but all kidding aside, you have gone and basically just thrown a pie in the face of those people who say, focus on one thing only and make it a success. Now, long term, if your energy is definitely I wouldn't say scattered, it is pieced into many different things, right? You have to figure out when to focus on what. So long term, do you envision yourself taking one or two of these and really growing them into multi-million-dollar businesses with the possibility of either selling them or, some type of an exit strategy or anything like that? Have you gotten to that point yet?
Yes, we have.
Oh, yay! Tell me about that if you can.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's like you said, we prided ourselves, threw pie in the face of everybody who said that you have to focus. And we were like, whatever, we're going to do everything and we're going to be amazing. Well, guess what? Everybody's kind of right. Like you do need to focus. You do need to niche down. Like you can't do everything or you're not going to make any money. I mean, sure, we're making money selling on Amazon. Yes, we're making money selling our course. But not the money we want to be making. We actually, I can't believe I haven't talked about this. When we started the year, we had a goal to make $1 million by the end of the year. And slowly have realized that if you're trying to do so many things, you're never going to make even like $100,000, let alone $1 million. Right. So we are really focusing down and doing the things that we feel like are more, important for us. So like we have the photography business. That's just kind of there. It's amazing. It's fun. We have all the equipment. It's not our focus. We have a doTERRA business. We sell essential oils. It's there. We have a great like upline that helps us, but it's not our focus. Like it's just not our purpose right now. The two things that are a major focus right now are my podcast, Marvelous Moms Club, because even though it's not really making money, I mean, it makes money because I can sell other things to my people, but I don't really like utilize sponsors on there. It's so organic and it's so different than like a business model, but I am going to be starting to treat it more like a business. But it's my purpose. Like it's where I feel the most fulfilled. I get so much more feedback on there than anything else. I know that it's helping people change. I know it's inspiring mothers. I know that it's like helping people, the exact purpose to help moms who are in the same situation that I was, to feel comfort and to feel taken care of. So that's never going to go away for me. Like never say never, but for me, that's a long-term thing. I'm in that for the long haul. That's opening up a lot of doors, even currently, like that I never would have dreamed. And then Amazon, like our course, and that's evolved so much from just we were selling it to just everybody. Whoever wants to learn about this, come and buy it. And it's still there for everybody. But because of the power of live streaming, I was able to connect with a lot of online influencers, social media influencers, Instagrammers, bloggers. And I always felt like their world and my world over here on Amazon were so different. And recently we've discovered how well they actually go together and how it would be like the dumbest mistake ever for these influencers not to implement this into their business. Because think about a social media influencer. We have one that's a friend of mine who has like 50,000, 60,000 followers on Instagram. If she posts something, people are going to go buy it. It's just the power of, what they do. So why not be posting your own stuff? And this is like a concept we went and presented at a live streaming conference and everybody was like, what? You're blowing my mind. And I'm like, I know. It's blowing my own mind. I mean, I wish I had 100,000 followers so I could sell my products, because up until now, we've been really, we don't talk about what we sell. It's very like under the radar. Right. For these people, they can, even if they don't want to say it's their own product, they can work as an affiliate or a sponsor to this product and they can sell hundreds of them a day. Right. And their ranking is going to boost up in Amazon and they're going to be able to sell to people who don't even know who they are and then bring more followers over to their brand. So it's just kind of this like light bulb went off in our heads and we're like, duh, these worlds totally can collide and they should collide. So now we're really working more and it's less passive, which is fine because I'm willing to do the work. We're working for influencers and we're like building up their Amazon businesses for them. We're building up this income stream for them because we could do it in our sleep and they want the money, but they don't necessarily have the time to learn something else or implement something new. So that's kind of where we're taking it now, which is so exciting because then we've been able to niche down and we know who our target client is. We know who our information is going to benefit the most. And that has just so much more potential, than anything else. And I just think it's so cool, like tangent here. You never know how your connections and your relationships are going to play into the bigger picture. Yes. I never understood why I was led to certain people and why I became friends with certain people who I never would have ever met if I had not like gone on Periscope and had live streaming relationships. And now it's these people who are like really changing the trajectory of our Amazon business, who before were supportive of our hustle, but they were like, yeah, but it's just not something I can do. And now they're like, wait, I need to do this. And I want to tell everybody else that they need to do this. So Yeah, those are the two things that whether we'll sell them, I don't know, but we really want to turn them into at least the foundation for more businesses. Like if we can get the Amazon thing to a point where it's made a certain amount of money, that's going to be like really the base for a lot more ideas that we have cooking.
Thank you for saying that, because it sounds like what you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you went from, yes, this is a course and it's wonderful to nurture the people and teach these people something, to now your trajectory is providing a service. Mm-hmm. It's not just teaching something and putting it up and forgetting about it, which how many of us have seen online every single day, at least 50 times a day, buy my course to teach you how to do such and such. We have an overload of that now. We're past it, right? We realize now it's no longer just learn how to do this, implement it, and make millions. That's not life.
Right. It's not.
You are now going, which I'm seeing quite a lot. So many of the people that I connect with are doing the exact same thing in their own little niches. And again, I've even helped my own son do the same thing. That they are now, instead of teaching people how to do something, they are actually providing the service to do it for you. Mm-hmm. And that's what you're doing with Amazon.
Yep.
Yes, that's where it's going. Power Parents, trust me, if you think you're going to just go create this course and make millions, please think about that. Is still possible for a lot of the influencers, the Derek Halperns, the Pat Flynn's, the Amy Porterfields of the world are still doing that. But if you're just starting out, you might want to think about what service do you know how to provide that you can do in your sleep, that you know so well that someone else needs you to do for them. Mm-hmm. And that's the future. That's the next year to 2 years out, 18 months to 2 years out. That's where it's going to switch.
Isn't that crazy? You can only say like a small amount of time and things are going to change again. It blows my mind.
It is. It's
very overwhelming.
Then the next thing after that is probably going to be a combination of the two.
Yeah.
Right?
Probably.
It's going to be a course plus I'll do it for you. Or that'll be in the model. That's the model I have.
That's kind of what we actually do have. We have kind of three. We have do it by yourself. Here's the course. We'll do it all for you, and something in the middle where it's like, here's the course, and then we'll coach you through it and help you strategize what fits best with your business. So the hybrid thing is actually like that. And I was super surprised at how many people wanted to just pay us to do it for them.
Yeah.
I really anticipated more people being like, I'll figure it out. I'm smart. I'll do it. I'll just do your course, or I'll go like do it all on my own.
Well, because that's what we are.
Yeah.
That's how you and I are, right? We want to figure it out. We're craziness.
Yep.
Because we want to figure it out and do it ourselves. I just love that. I still do that. I don't care. I still love that. That's part of my education. That's why I know so much about online, is because I learn it and do it. Mm-hmm. And it's really difficult for me to just have someone do it for me. It's just, I just prefer learning it. Yeah. But I do the same thing. So I have 3 levels. It's a DIY, right? Do it yourself, a do it with you, and a do it for you.
I love it.
That's the wave. It really is the next level. And you have all 3 options for those crazy people like us who want to do it ourselves, for the people that are only semi-crazy and want to do part of it themselves but also want help, and then for the people who are totally sane and normal, they want somebody to do it for them.
I know. Why can't we be more like them?
No. Shh, stop. Don't try and be anything other than you are, woman. You are amazing. You are marvelous.
Oh, you're so sweet. I love that word. I had a guest on my podcast, like the tipping point. She had emailed me, and the tipping point was when I saw the back cover of a children's book she had written, and it said marvelous. Like it had the word marvelous. I'm like, that's it. She's on my podcast. I love that word.
We're done.
I just love it.
That is so fantastic. Thank you so much. So now tell me, with that craziness, how do you get it all done? Give me a snapshot of your day. I mean, like we're talking beginning to end. You don't need to get into the nitty gritty, craziness, or, go ahead. I don't know. But,
okay.
How do you get it all done? I know there are people out there going, this woman can do so much when I can barely get out of bed. So how do you get it all done?
Okay. So first of all, when we started talking, everybody, I told Mary Catherine that I had an eye twitch, and it's like my eyebrow and my eye, the whole eye is twitching. So it's not a perfect life. It's not a rested life all the time, but it's a life that I am not going to take no for an answer, and I'm never going to quit, and I'm never going to stop. So most people look at their day and they think, oh, we have 24 hours in a day, but 8 of that is sleeping and 5 of that is this. And for us, we maximize like every hour as much as we can. And it was even more so when we started. Like we were amazed at how much we could get done. We weren't watching TV anymore. We weren't on social media. Like we unfollowed everybody on Facebook. We just took all the distractions out and solely focused on business. And now, like, you know, we still have to be human and we've let some of that back in. But so like a typical day, I have to shout out to my husband because he's amazing and he's even more like dedicated to crunching hours out of the day. He gets up at 5 every morning and begins like, he kind of does like a hybrid miracle morning, like a really fast version of it just to get going, and then starts working. Our kids have always been early risers. So I just want to say that it has never been easy for us to do a lot because our kids are up at like 5:30 or 6 in the morning. Yeah. So it's not like he gets up at 5 and he has 3 hours to work. He gets up at 5 so that he can work maybe an hour before he's interrupted. And so the kids, they've started sleeping until like 6:37 lately, which is amazing. They get up, they kind of take care of themselves a little bit more now. They've started playing. I honestly have tried to get up at 5 consistently, and I just by the afternoon can't get anything accomplished. So it's more useful for me to get my sleep in the morning so that I have more energy throughout the day. So I get up around 7 and I take care of the kids. I get them all ready for school. We have 2 in school now, a first grader and a preschooler. We just do like the morning routine. Ben usually stays in the office and keeps working until right before the kids leave. I take him to school. I come back home, and this is only so brand new because school just started. Before this, it was like a juggling act of, well, you work it for like an hour and then I'll work for an hour, but it was constantly somebody was always working. It was never like, let's just both sit and watch TV. No, somebody's always in the office. Somebody's always doing something. We have little powwows throughout the day. So now, like with 2 of our kids in school, our daughter, our little 2-year-old, she plays independently super well. So we can sit and work for like 2 of the 3 hours that our son's in preschool, and she can kind of sit in the room with us and we play with her off and on. We work all morning. We do lunch, and then I don't know, like it's so boring, but we literally just work all day long. Like that is our life, and we thrive on that. Our goal is to be kind of done with the bulk of it by 3:30 when my son's home, because that's when, like, you know, the kids need the attention. Right. I try not to be distracted by my phone or by work. I'm working on the phone thing. We all are. Mm-hmm. And dinner prep, and Ben actually cooks dinner. He loves to cook. He's a better cook than I am. I mean, I've learned a lot from him, but that's kind of his thing. Like he makes the meals mostly. He will make really good meals for us. And I do like all the laundry and the cooking the cleaning and all the other stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's like a really interesting balancing act. And I'm lucky that he will cook.
Yes,
I don't enjoy that part. And then we do dinner with the family. The kids are usually in bed by 7:30, and then we work some more. So it's really just, even if we're not like physically working on the computer, our conversations are always, and maybe this is super unhealthy, but our conversations are always driven to like, how can we better the business? What's our next marketing strategy? What's coming up next? What's our like financial goal? To the point where like sometimes our kids regurgitate that information. Like they're just like, how many more podcasts do you do before you have $1 million? And I'm like, well, probably 1 million. So they love it, because that was part of our thing too, is we didn't grow up in like these horrible childhoods or, you know, bad homes, but we really want our children to have an even bigger grasp of their potential and that they can literally do anything they want. So we're already kind of teaching them that and trying to be examples to that, and asking them like, what business would you start? Like, what do you want to do? Do you want to just get a job, or do you want to like start a business while you're young? So, I mean, I know that was kind of all over the place, but our day really is just like, anytime we can squeeze in work, we squeeze in work. And we really hyper focus on whatever the priority thing is that's going to make us money that week. So typically it's Amazon, and typically it's the Amazon course, and it's just evolved so much. I feel like even though we're doing the same thing, it's never the same thing. Yeah. It just keeps changing, and we keep pushing it in a different way. And live streaming. We live stream almost every day in one format or another. And that's like my tool. I know you're going to ask that. That's what we've used to grow our business.
Yeah. And then so where are you live streaming? I know you had Periscope for a long time before Facebook Live came on. And I know you do Facebook Live too. So are you still split between Periscope and Facebook Live still?
Yep. We see so much growth potential still with Periscope, because you can use hashtags. It's connected to Twitter. We've had so many people find us, even not when we're live, but later on, like, oh, I found your stream. I found your thing about your Amazon stuff, or I found it about this. Can I still get in on that? And every time we go on Periscope, we kind of find a new friend, or we attract a new person. And if I can keep doing that regularly, I will Periscope till the end of time if it means me continuing to find new people who need my message. Right. And Facebook Live has been super interesting because I've actually just gone on my personal Facebook page, and friends and family who didn't even know what we were up to, they just knew like our life was different and weird now. They get it and they know what we're up to. And we've been able to like help other people and like promote our course to people who already know us and love us and trust us, which is great because then we don't have to like go through that point and like building up the trust. Right. We're just like, you guys know us. This is what we're doing. If you want to do it too, we're happy to help you do it. So, and now, utilizing Facebook Live with my community, with Marvelous Moms Club, with our following on Amazon, that kind of thing is great, but it's so much less interactive. It's so much harder to get people commenting if you don't have a giant following. Right. So there's a place for both. And I really, it's so weird. Looking back on this, we're like, we have done all that we have done without an email list, without anything traditionally that people have done to grow their business. We've sold every course and we've sold like all of our information, everything we've ever made money on has been solely through live streaming. So I feel lucky. We came on when it was still so new, and I've been fearless, and I've gotten on there, and I've been myself, and I haven't even realized I was doing it as a business tool. But there was one day that I got on Periscope, and I said, hey guys, I shared our story. I was not getting on there. I really didn't even know how to do a good webinar. I had no idea, but I got on there and I was super pumped. I was like, oh my gosh, you guys, we just got paid out from Amazon today. This is the best feeling in the world. And my heart was just full of gratitude and I was so happy. And I just wanted to like share that with my friends. I just wanted to be excited with somebody. So I got on there and I shared my story and more people just kept trickling on. And by midnight that night, we had sold 11 Amazon courses. I was like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? Like, I didn't even know what I had done. So business has really taught itself to me like, I guess it just, those things that you learn about come really natural. Yeah. And it is true. Like, you're not on here to sell. You're not doing it to be a salesy person or to make money on people or to manipulate them. You're truly like just offering that service. And it's amazing. And it's an amazing feeling to know that you're helping and that the things that you're doing in your life are making other people grow. So I love live stream. It's my juice, and I'm going to do it till the end of time.
I agree 100%. I agree 100%. It's been difficult for me to be consistent in live stream just because, I'm old and I have to, I feel like
No,
I have to,
not.
well, let me just say, I feel like I have to pretty myself up. Otherwise I'll scare people.
Oh my
So
God. I've gotten on there and cried with no makeup on. It's not about how you look.
I know. I have to tell you that. I have to tell you that exactly. You are absolutely my live stream goddess. I have to be more like Kirsten. I just have to, and just say, screw it. I'm just going to get on there and just scare people.
Yeah. Why not? I love you. I love that you got on there and told on Periscope. I'll never forget your Periscope where you told the story of like your dog. What was it? Like your dog's. Now I can't remember the story, but I said I'll never forget it. But it was really funny.
I don't even know. It was probably whatever happened that day.
Yeah, it was, but it was a really funny story.
I've got to get on there and talk about how there are two people I'm helping right now. Again, I keep bringing up my son, but I'm just so stinking excited and proud that he is grabbing this whole entrepreneurial journey and running with it and doing so amazing. We're talking in the span of 2 months, he's already got 3 clients and making more money than, and of course this is him talking, more money than any of his friends, and he makes it in his pajamas, sitting on his bed, editing people's podcasts. I mean, it's just, he is so excited because he loves working with his people. He loves talking to them. He loves helping them and he's learning so much because of course the majority of the people that he's editing for are business podcasts. So, so he's learning tons, and I get to help and coach him through this. It is just so stinking amazing.
Oh my gosh.
And
amazing.
just like you were talking about when you do live streaming, when you come on and you are genuine and you really are showing what you know and who you are, that it's not selling. I mean, selling kind of gets a bad rap. You do think of that. You think of people trying to convince you to do something, but it really is just you saying what you love and know how to do. And the people who resonate with that will come. Mm-hmm. The people who don't, won't. Yeah. And that's cool on both sides.
Yeah.
Just like you weren't ready for the whole business thing to be treated as a business until you were really ready for it. Those books were all out there. You just didn't buy them until you were ready. So just like that, it will happen when it's ready to happen. And if you don't have an expectation that people do it, you're going to be more successful because you won't be so identified with whether or not someone buys from you, and you won't take it personally. That's really where most of the people that I help, that's where their difficulty is. They take it personally.
Yeah.
But you can't.
Nope, you can't.
Wow. Well, Kirsten, I know there are people out there going, yes, and I'm telling you, I guarantee you they're fist pumping us, and, they're out there going, yes, this sounds so amazing, because it does. So thank you for that.
You bet.
But if there's someone out there who's just like, yes, I want to do this, but oh man, I don't know. She has so much energy. She has a husband that's supporting her and doing some of the work. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. I really have this amazing idea, but I don't know. I'm scared. I don't know if it's going to work. Maybe I'm not as comfortable in front of the camera as she is. And of course, we haven't even talked about Vera. So we'll have to talk about her in a minute. But, I'm not as comfortable. I just don't know how that's going to work. What advice would you give that person who's just sitting there rocking back and forth, really wanting to jump in, but really unsure?
Oh, how do I answer that without being super cliche, just like all those books that I've read? Oh, you will never regret it. I mean, there's been points in our life and in this whole journey where it's like, we have no money in our bank account. What are we doing? This sucks. This cost us thousands of dollars to move. This was not in the plan. And what were we thinking? Go back to your job and just go back to where it's comfortable. So I'm not going to tell you that it's not going to be hard and you're not going to hate your choices sometimes, but the feeling, the high that you're going to get knowing that you've done something yourself. I mean, I'm a faith-based person, and I don't think we came to Earth to be ruled by somebody telling us what to do all the time. We came here because we wanted to have a mortal experience, and we wanted to make choices for ourselves. We wanted to learn, and we wanted to grow. If you're at a point where you're not learning and growing and you're not becoming a better person, whether that's associated with a business or not, then you're not really fulfilling the whole reason that we're here. We're not just here to hang out and have a great time and be lazy. It's just, what would be the point of that? We're here to strengthen other people, to be an example to other people, to get through this whole entire life journey together. And some of that can really come with starting your own business. And if you have even this tiniest little twitch of entrepreneur blood in your body, you owe it to yourself to do it, because nobody's ever going to make your dreams come true. Nobody will. Nobody cares. Honestly, it sounds harsh, but nobody really, really cares about your dreams. You're the only one who's ever going to make them come true. And you might not even know what the dream is yet. You might not even understand the mission that you have. But if you never start, you're never going to know. And that's where it gets cliche. If you don't start, you'll never know. If you don't do it, then, how can you know it's going to be a failure? But even if I completely fell on my face and failed with everything I'm doing right now, I would never change it, because I've grown so much as a person, and I see the lives that I've been able to touch so far. And I look forward to how many lives I get to touch in the future. So just do it.
Yay. Yes. Power Parents, I second that motion. Just do it. Definitely. Awesome. Oh, well, Kirsten, again, thank you so much for sharing this time with us and just sharing the story, the fast and furious story, the wonderful story. And it's only just beginning. I can't wait to see where you are in 2 years, in 5 years. I just can't wait, because I know it's going to be amazing. And I know you're going to be making a difference in people's lives and in the lives of your children and yourself. So thank you so much for being here.
You're so sweet. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad we did this.
Me too.
I love you. You're one of my favorite people too. One of my favorite guests. And so it's an honor to be on your podcast and share this with your people.
To get powered up for your day, just go to parententrepreneur.power.com and listen to any one of the over 100 episodes we've had so far with amazing entrepreneurs just like you. It might just help you feel like a grown-up again.